Aloha, namaste. This is Alexis with another little tip for you on sacred event timing. So I'm going to be teaching a wonderful workshop this Thursday, April 29th. It's going to be at 1:30 p.m. Hawaii time. And we're going to dive really deep into all these concepts, how to plan your events, specifically really artistic events or sacred events, healing, anything that you might want to offer the world that is already aligning with energy. So we have a whole community of people, and I'm lucky enough to be friends with so many of you who have these beautiful offerings, and you're so tuned in to source and to all these different techniques of healing and awareness. And yet most people really have very little awareness about the fact that when they plan their event or when they actually bring their event out into the world, really matters as well. And it's not just for like an event as a concert or, a big festival, but any kind of workshop or class, if you are doing, newsletters or Facebook posts or Instagram posts for your business, any kind of marketing you're doing, all of this can be timed in a way where it's the most effective, where you get the most feedback, you get the most reception, most people, the most eyeballs are on what you're doing. The ears are open and able to receive. You are shining in your light. And the offering itself is really being met with the energy that it's trying to align with. So all of these concepts we're going to dive really deep into in that class. And this is just a little taste of that. And an offering to those who might not really want to take the full class, but just might be interested in knowing a little bit more about how they can daily align their lives with these different planetary energies. So today we're going to talk about Vara, or the day of the week. And each day is a different planet's day. So some of you might even know this, but whether or not you think about it in relationship to what you do or the offerings you bring out into the world, may or may not be something you've ever considered. We often think of our week in terms of the weekdays and the weekends. And the weekends are fun because we don't have to work. And the weekdays are less fun because we have to work and we have to do errands and maybe have appointments, doctor's appointments, DMV appointments, whatever it is we have to do at that time. And I know for the last year, a lot of people have stayed indoors. So maybe everything has felt like one long weekend. To some of you, or for some of you, working from home might felt like every day was a weekday that you were never really off. But each day does hold the energy of the planet that it is associated with. And oftentimes we have, big events or classes or things that we want to offer, and they're not necessarily being met on the day that we're offering them, because the weekends are really when we tend to do things like that. We are pretty much Saturday, Sunday people in the Western world when it comes to, weddings, festivals, parties, anything that's really going to require a lot of participation to show up, because that's when people have off and are available and don't have to wake up really early for work the next day. So I understand that, and that is what it is. We live in this world, and I do a lot of muhurta for clients, and oftentimes things like weddings will be part of that, and it needs to be on a Saturday or it needs to be on a Sunday, and that is something that they can't really budge on. So this is sort of just more about being aware of what energy comes with each day, and, being able to align yourself with it, even in just little ways throughout your week. So we have the start of the week really as Sunday, if we think about the actual week start, not our weekend. And Sunday is the sun's day, right? That seems pretty easy to understand. And the sun is our source of power. It's our source of connection to source itself, to God. It's the part of us that is living in our power. And so Sunday is often the day of the week when we're the laziest, right? It's the day when we do the least. And that, again, is associated with our work week. But if we tune into the light that the sun offers us, we can see that it's really a powerful time to connect to that inner light. And for many people, especially in the Christian tradition, Sunday is actually God's day, right? It's a day when people go to church in the mornings. And that might be true for other religions as well. I'm not sure. But that practice of showing up to church on Sunday definitely comes from the fact that the sun owns Sunday. So it is a wonderful time for spiritual practice, for reflectivity on our state of consciousness and our connection to God. And it can be a time where we really are able to kind of scrutinize or shine the light on areas of our actions or our teachings, our wisdom, or our relationships, or all the other planetary energies that we have, and how they're relating to our connection to truth, our connection to source, because that's really the power of the sun. In Western astrology, sun sign is sort of you. That's what defines you and what people talk about when they're speaking about their sign. But the way I like to describe the sun sign is that it's kind of who you want to be. It's the part of you that is in your highest light. And it's not necessarily who you are in your daily actions. That would be more related to your rising sign. And it's not necessarily who you are in your inner self, your emotional self. That's your moon. So the sun is this part of us that we want to be connected to something higher. And so it's a time to really align all the other areas of your life with this connection. And of course, it's a day when a lot of things happen because it's a weekend. So you can tune into that, even if the event or thing you've planned isn't necessarily very sun-centric. It can still be used as a guiding light as to how to access that energy on the day of whatever it is you're doing. So that's Sunday for you. Monday is the moon's day, right? So this is the day when we are going inside, we're internalizing. And a lot of the energy of this sort of Monday morning blues of the fact that people have to get up and go to work and drag themselves out of bed really comes from the fact that there's nothing that fights the moon's energy more than the alarm bell ringing, get up out of bed, the manic Monday from the Bangle song in the 80s, like this idea that we have to get up and start our week on a day that is really the most about inner reflection, inner connection. If you have children, being a mother, if you are near your own mother, maybe connecting to her, connecting to that nurturing, unconditional, loving part of ourselves. So personally, I've taken Mondays for many, many years. I've was working in the restaurant industry for a long time, so it was very easy to take Mondays off. It's a day of the week that isn't as busy for certain businesses. So if you do work in a business that Monday's not your busy day, it can actually be a really wonderful day to take as your day off if you have that choice. Or maybe it can be a day that you go to work late if you don't have to go to work, or if you are working with maybe half home work now and half showing up at the office since the pandemic, that would be an excellent day to sort of fix it so that you don't have to go into work on that day. It's a wonderful day to really connect with your inner being, the state of emotions that you feel, and how you are really showing up for yourself and nurturing yourself. Tuesdays are the day of the week that's Mars Day, right? So it is actually a good day to kind of get up and go do what you need to do and start on projects that you've been waiting to get the momentum and the discipline and the courage to show up for. It's a great day to do practices like hatha yoga, or any kind of exercise, martial art, whatever it is that you like to do to activate your body and your physical being. It's a great time to take on challenging situations. If you have to deal with a confrontation with someone, or even a surgery or something like that, that is going to be less fun anyway, where it's not really about connecting. It's more about, showing up in courage and strength and actually sort of disconnecting from the emotional state and doing it anyway. Mars can really bring us that courage that we need and that capacity to stand in our strength. So Tuesday, great day to bring on the fire. Wednesday is Mercury's day. And also I should mention that there's colors associated with each of these days. So you can actually wear the color of the day to help bring out that energy. I'm filming this on a Tuesday, actually. So I'm wearing this sort of rust colored red. And, there's a lot with color therapy and remedies with the planets that would be more involved for each person in terms of their chart. But just a really simple practice could be wearing the color of the day of the week. On Wednesday, we have Mercury's day, and Mercury is green. And it is a day where we're using our intellect, right? We're taking in information. This could be a good day to do anything that, like taxes or anything that requires that sort of organizational skill, that capacity to categorize things and organize things, especially information, data, good time to do research, great time to peruse the internet and fall down some rabbit holes. I'm just kidding. That's the shadow side of Mercury, where you can get kind of caught up in information collection and not really making anything of that information. But for that reason, things like research can be really valuable on a Wednesday. And it's also a great time for communication. If you have conversations you need to have with someone and you want to keep them light and objective and not super impassioned or angry, if there's, a friend you want to hang out with and you just want to, have a really fun, casual day where you're engaged in conversation and things like that, Wednesday can be a great day for that. Thursdays are Jupiter's day. Jupiter is this, magnificent planet of expansion and our wisdom and teachings and gurus, teachers, and children, because they are actually ultimately our best children. I mean, our best teachers. Jupiter is associated with the color of yellow. And a lot of times you'll see people wearing like saffron robes, who are monks or in a spiritual lineage. This is a wonderful way to connect to the energy of Jupiter. Also sing mantras. Mantras could actually work for Mercury too, especially if you have some challenges around Mercury, really getting your mind clear of all that extra vritti, that extra noise. But for Jupiter, it can be tuning into your connection to the deities or your specific Ishtadevata, your specific deity that you feel connected to. It can be a time to learn the sutras or read ancient texts. It's a wonderful time for learning, for growth. The class that I'm teaching this coming Thursday is on a Thursday, and I had very similar muhurta available for Wednesday or Thursday, and I picked Thursday. For some logistical reasons, but also because I prefer Thursday for things like a class, even though the mental discernment and interest in information is there on a Wednesday, the capacity to synthesize it and make it mean something is more of Jupiter's realm, where we want to actually create meaning from all this information. We don't want to just collect information. And those two planets, Mercury and Jupiter, really work together. And they can also work against each other, but really they're very necessary both for understanding. One brings us knowledge, Mercury, and one brings us wisdom, and that's Jupiter. Friday is Venus's day. And so Friday is probably the most well-honored day of the week as far as our Western world and how we operate and what what our lives look like with the weekends and the weekdays, as I said before, and the planetary energy, because Venus's day is when we want to have fun, we want to have connection, we want to have pleasure, we want to have enjoyment, and Fridays tend to be that day. People get off work, some people get off work early, some schools end early. It might be the start of a weekend vacation, maybe you have a romantic dinner date, maybe you have a party you're going to. It's a really delicious day to maybe even delve into things you don't always do, like dessert, or whatever, if you want to have a glass of wine or some chocolate or something delectable and delicious, you want to take a bath at the end of the night, or you want to have a really romantic evening with your sweetie. Fridays are that day that really carry that energy of romance, love, connection, fun, beauty, And so I would say of all the days of the week, Friday is the one that already gets the most honored in our culture. And it's one of my favorite days of the week. I have a Taurus rising and a Libra moon. So I have a lot of Venus energy, and I was born on a Friday. So I'm a fan of Fridays, and I'm a fan of the fact that in our culture, we actually support that Friday energy quite a bit. So if you were to be planning a wedding, the two best days actually to plan them are either on a Friday or a Monday, the moon's day or Venus's day. Of course, that doesn't really happen very often, but my guess is if you were able at all to move away from Saturday and Sunday for that, Friday would be your opportunity to do that more than a Monday in terms of our weekends and our schedules and all of that. So another good day to take off work if you can. If you're able to not work on a Friday, that can be a great time to take an extra day for a 3-day vacation or something like that. Saturday is Saturn's day, and that is the day of the week that is the most solemn, right? Saturn's where we show up in hard work and commitment. There's a dutiful quality, a humble quality to Saturn. It's where we reckon with poverty, old age, illness, and the harsh reality of life. But it's also where we're able to be meditative and find detachment and our capacity to really accept the hardships of life and find our grace anyway. Saturn is sort of the one that gets the worst rap out of all the planets, but it really depends on where it is in your chart for how it affects you personally. But there is more of a solemn nature for Saturdays. And of course, many, many parties, events, and fun things happen on Saturdays. It's the primary day for that kind of thing to happen simply because it's the first day of the weekend. Also, many weddings happen on Saturdays, and it's considered to be one of the two worst days to have a wedding. Both Tuesdays and Saturdays carry energy that can be very challenging for the celebratory nature of a wedding. But Saturday is a great day to actually, get down on your knees and do some work in your garden or on your home or anything that you maybe have been putting off that you don't really want to do. It's a time to commit to maybe the drudge work or the work that's less fun and less desirable and really is working towards some long-term goal, something that you're very committed to for the future. It's also a wonderful day to meditate and to honor that inner connection, similar to Sunday in that sense, but in a more cold, dispassioned way and more to do with meditating than actually connecting to God. There's actually almost an atheism or a quality of like not even feeling the devotion or the bhakti from Saturn. It's this sort of just nothingness that can come with Saturn's energy, but it can be very spiritual for those who have meditation practices and do things like yoga. So Saturdays is a day that's probably one of the most misused energies of all of the days of the week for that reason, just for the fact that it's the weekend and it really isn't very weekend-y. But it is again what it is, and it's just good to notice those things and to sort of reflect upon them when you're living your life. So I hope this is helpful. If it is, please share and offer to your friends. If you're interested in the course and you want to dive much deeper into these concepts, these two videos that I've done are kind of really light part of the class, but something that I figure people can bring into their lives, even if they're not interested in the class or really don't even do events or healing or classes or anything like that. So that's why I brought them in this form. But please comment, like, share, and check out the link if you want to look into the class, and we'll hope to see you on Thursday. Also, if you are planning on signing up for the class, go ahead and do it as soon as possible. I'm going to close enrollment on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Hawaii time, which is 12 midnight Pacific time. And I'm also going to ask that people offer their events that they want to be timed as soon as possible, because I'm going to pick one person out of the participants where we're actually going to plan their event together. And whatever it is, whether it's a concert or whether it's just a simple, new moon circle or something like that, whatever it is that you're doing, you can submit that to me. And I'm going to pick one of those. And one of the two primary basis on which I'm going to be choosing is going to be on how quickly someone gets it to me, because I'd like to decide that before the close of enrollment. So the sooner you can get that to me, the better. So if you are interested in signing up, please, please do that as soon as possible. Have a beautiful and blessed whatever day of the week you receive this on. Today is a Tuesday, so it will be strong energy, but you might be receiving this on a Wednesday. So I hope you're having fun with all that information.